Everyone's tired of the same old argument. Who won, who lost? That's not the real story here. The real story is hiding behind the press conference smiles, the intent both front offices don't want you to see, and the structural trap buried inside it. This trade doesn't just reshape the Eastern Conference, it rewrites how both franchises think about time. Start with the players themselves. Jaylen Brown is 29, still in his athletic prime. Paul George just turned 36, and he's deep into the final chapter of his career. On the surface, this reads like a simple star swap. It isn't. Philadelphia also sent 2 future first-round picks and 2 second-round picks to Boston. 4 assets total. That's the detail that exposes just how lopsided this deal really is. Look at what Philadelphia is getting in Brown. His scoring output sits in elite territory, and so does his PIE, his overall impact score, which lands inside the league's top 50. His three-point shot, a real weak spot in recent years, climbed all the way back to league average last season. He averaged 28.7 points a game, and he did it while carrying a heavy offensive load for most of the year. There's no real hole in that profile. Now flip to what Boston is getting in George. His defense, his steals, his three-point shooting, all of it graded out as elite last season. But that grade came from just 37 games. It's a small sample holding up a big number. If Brown's profile is a finished, load-bearing wall, George's is closer to something built to look strong under ideal conditions, and it's an open question whether it holds up over a full 82-game season. That gap in risk explains why Philadelphia had to attach so much future capital to make this work. The 2028 first-round pick heading to Boston is Philadelphia's own, and it can convert into an even more favorable swap right for Boston if the Sixers finish well. The 2031 first is fully unprotected, also Philadelphia's own pick. Add in 2 second-round picks, one in 2028 and one in 2030, each pulled from the most favorable slot among several other teams' own selections. Put simply, Philadelphia is betting everything on a short window built around Joel Embiid, buying a finished scorer to put next to Maxey right now. Boston is doing the opposite. Tatum stays the untouchable center of the roster, and in exchange for taking on George's contract, Boston walks away with draft flexibility and security that stretches 5 years out. Strip away the simple who won framing, and both rosters look different than the headlines suggest. Boston is where the immediate impact hits hardest. That's where this breaks down first. Everyone's already calling this a downgrade for Boston. They lost all-star level volume, and on paper that's hard to argue with. Take the scoring ability score. It drops from 6th all the way down to 11th once Brown is out of the lineup. The overall depth of the top 10 players on the roster slides too, from 4th to 6th. But look at the starting 5 as a unit. That group actually holds steady at 9th. The core lineup isn't collapsing here. The real loss doesn't show up in any of those numbers. It's what happened in the clutch. Those tight late-game stretches where the offense stalls and somebody has to break the defense down one-on-one. Brown did that. Boston ran a defense that finished 4th in efficiency and 1st in the league at limiting paint scoring. A genuine wall on that end. But flip to the other side of the ball, and this same team sat dead last in both pace and assist rate, 30th in the league in each. Brown's isolation game wasn't just a weapon. It was the operating system. And that's exactly why George makes sense here. Boston's offense already runs almost entirely off spacing, rather than ball movement. 3rd in the league in made threes. Add a guy who shot 39.2% from 3 last season, grading out elite in that category, and the fit isn't cosmetic. Tatum draws the defense, creates a sliver of room, and George is built to punish exactly that kind of window with catch-and-shoot looks. Defense tells a similar story. Swap Brown for George, and the size jumps 6'6" up to 6'8" on the wing. Boston's ability score for steals climbs too, from 27th to 24th in the league. That number alone doesn't mean much on its own. In the official season stats, this team already ranked 28th in steals while holding opponents to a top 5 mark in fast break points allowed. That's not an accident. It's discipline. Boston doesn't gamble for steals. It sets the defense first. George's steal numbers come from the same place, reading passing lanes, not chasing risky plays. He adds individual defensive pressure without breaking the system that already works. One note before moving on. This breakdown isolates the two-team swap on its own terms. Brown for George, stripped of every other roster move this offseason. Boston also brought in Mitchell Robinson in a separate deal, and that's real. But the goal here is the pure trade calculus between these two players, not the full roster picture. We'll break down the full roster shift in a separate video. Boston loses volume. it gains a more complete two-way profile. Whether that trade turns out to be the final piece for a title run is still an open question. One the next stretch of this breakdown will start to answer once we shift to what Philadelphia gave up to make this happen. Philadelphia paid a heavy price in future draft capital, and the local fan base doesn't seem to care. The reaction to landing a prime year scorer like Jaylen Brown has been pure excitement. On the surface, this move is already working. Swap out Paul George, who managed just 37 games last season, for a healthy prime Brown, and the scoring ability score jumps from 27th all the way up to 24th in the league. The starting five's overall grade climbs even further, from 8th all the way to 6th. Maxi's speed, Embiid's sheer dominance in the paint, and now Brown's downhill force, 3 different kinds of pressure sharing the same floor. That combination alone could shift the balance of power in the East. Last season's biggest problem for this roster had nothing to do with talent. It was what happened the moment Embiid sat down. Maxey was left to carry the offense alone. Barlow and Bona hold down the interior, but neither one creates his own shot. Brown fixes exactly that gap. He's built to get to a good look on his own, even in isolation, during those stretches when Embiid's off the floor. But local analysts aren't buying the excitement without a catch. Spacing is the real concern here. Even with George's limited availability, the team's official three-point production sat at 22nd in the league last season. Remove him, and their projected three-point ability score falls to 26th. Defenses stop respecting the perimeter, and they collapse the paint. That's exactly where Brown and Maxey do their best work, driving lanes, and now those lanes get more crowded, not less. Defense adds another layer of tension. Boston sets up in a disciplined half-court shell. Philadelphia doesn't. This is a team that gambles for steals up front, sitting 6th in the league in that category. Strip away that first line of defense, though, and the team's overall defensive ability score drops from 12th to 16th. Brown alone can't be expected to plug that gap on the wing, and the fallout lands on the front court. Philadelphia already ranks 26th in fast break points allowed, and that number likely gets worse. None of this erases the risk. Splitting the roster into 2 extreme lineup types, offense first and defense first, creates real structural exposure. But the biggest win here isn't about fit. It's about age. Brown is 29. Maxey is 25. Philadelphia just locked in a young core entering its prime for years to come. And that's bigger than solving this season's offense. It's insurance against the day Embiid isn't the centerpiece anymore. Boston gave up volume and got tactical discipline and long-term security instead. Philadelphia gave up spacing today for a young prime years core built to last. This isn't just a star swap. It's 2 front offices playing a longer game, several moves ahead. Next season is already shaping up as a study in contrasts. Brad Stevens built something calculated here. Take away Paul George, Philadelphia's best floor spacer, and the team's projected three-point ability score drops to 26th in the league. That forces the half-court game to collapse toward the paint. Maxey and Brown lose their driving lanes right into a Boston front line, built to stop exactly that. Mitchell Robinson and Neemias Queta, anchoring the league's strongest interior defense. Boston lets you feel dangerous on the perimeter, then shuts everything down at the rim. Philadelphia isn't without an answer, though. Maxey and Brown give this roster a 2-man engine built for the next several years. In a playoff series, that kind of individual scoring power can break down even the most disciplined defensive scheme. It's happened before. Both front offices are boxed in for the rest of the summer. Both payrolls are pushing $200 million. Boston sits just over the luxury tax line, while Philadelphia operates just below it. Despite the slight difference, neither front office has any real cap space. The only moves left on the table are minimum contracts and taking a flyer on whoever's still on the market. Boston needs a defender who can solve its size problem in the backcourt. Philadelphia needs even one more shooter who can ease the traffic in the paint. Whoever finds value at the bottom of the market wins that piece of the summer. Does Stevens' trap shut down the East again, or will a prime Maxey Brown core force its way through? Which front office do you think actually won this chess match? Can Boston maintain its defensive shell with George? And how does Philly solve that traffic jam in the paint? Drop your read in the comments below. I want to see your analysis. That wraps up today's breakdown. If you value this level of data-driven analysis, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.